It's just a fanfiction, a story written by me, a writer. This has nothing to do with mentioned ideal BTS members, real life event behavior characteristics. Pics, sound, videos which are used in this video are not mine. Credit goes to rightful owners. But the editing and the storyline is mine. Do not copy it. A man and a woman in their late 20s were in their living room. The man named Kim Taehyung was tying his wife Kim Hwa-in's shoelace. Done. Let's go then. Hwa-in nodded while smiling and they both headed outside. They both went towards their OBGYN as it was their unborn baby's second checkup. Taehyung and Hwa-in married each other almost 9 months ago. Both of them knew each other since their college days. Both were in the same class, both became friends that time. Because of Hwa-in, Taehyung met her sister Amy, who was 3 years younger than them. As both were very good friends, all three started to meet often. Taehyung and Hwa-in's sister fell in love and started to date each other. Hwa-in also fell for Taehyung without her knowing, but she kept quiet, knowing very well how much her sister loved Taehyung and vice versa. So Hwa-in tried to date other men to move on. Both families didn't have any problems regarding Taehyung and Amy's relationship, considering the fact that both were in same business. All knew they would eventually get married, but almost 2 years ago, Taehyung's parents passed away due to an accident. He was devastated that time, but Amy was by his side. Even Hwa-in and her parents were too. He tried to move on holding his love's hand, but almost 1 year ago, Amy was diagnosed with terminal disease. It was in last stage. Even after numerous treatments, she couldn't make it and passed away, leaving Taehyung more devastated and more shattered. Hwa-in and her parents too were devastated with her loss. On her last days, Amy feared what would happen to Taehyung after her demise, considering the fact that he was becoming mentally weak and there wasn't any close relative of his who would take care of him emotionally. So, as a last wish, she asked Taehyung to marry Hwa-in. Obviously, Amy first asked her elder sister if she was in a relationship or not. When Hwa-in denied of having any relationship, Amy asked her to marry Taehyung. Almost 9 months back from today, Taehyung married Hwa-in as he wanted to fulfill his love's last wish, despite knowing it would be too much hard for him to move on from his first love. And Hwa-in married him obviously because she wanted to fulfill her dear sister's last wish, but also because deep down she never stopped loving him. Despite knowing she could never get his love like Amy got. But at least she could take care of him, love him openly. That should be much better than not showing her love for him. They got married after 2 months Amy passed away. So for the first few months of their marriage went both of them trying to cope up with the loss. After 7 months of their marriage, Taehyung couldn't help but told Hwa-in to consummate their marriage, realizing her love for him, the way she tried to be a supportive wife. Because she deserved more from him. She deserved more than just a namesake marriage. But deep down, he felt he was betraying his first love. But he knew he needed to move on, because that's how life works. When they got to know the news of her pregnancy, Hwa-in was ecstatic. He was happy too, but a tiny part of him still wondered, How would it felt if she was at her place? After the checkup, sitting in the car, Wyan was crying her heart out while leaning on Taehyung's shoulder. She was clenching on his shirt tightly. Taehyung also didn't hold back and let go of his tears while hugging her. After all, the checkup results didn't go as per their visions. Their doctor told them that she had already miscarried. Almost 2 weeks later, it's been almost 2 weeks since Wyan miscarried. She was mourning, Taehyung was also, but he took care of her health just like the doctor told him to. But she felt very distant. They were living in the same house, but he felt she is living too far away from him. It felt as if her grief was different than his. First he lost his parents, then his love, then his baby. Now his wife also seemed distant. All of this was taking a toll on him. He tried to stay calm, strong, but failed miserably. So he decided to ask Wyan about it. Wyan, she looked at him. Why are you avoiding me? What are you saying, Taehyung? After our baby, that incident, you were very distant. It's not that, Taehyung. Do you think it's my fault that our baby is no more? Her eyes widened hearing him. She looked away from him. Do you think it's because I didn't take care of you enough? What do you want me to say, Taehyung? What? She snapped at him for the first time after their marriage. You want to know, right? What I am feeling right now? Fine then, listen if you can. I blame you for this miscarriage, Taehyung. I totally blame you. Her heart beat while saying those cruel words to her love, whereas he got frozen hearing this from her. Tell me you were super happy hearing about our pregnancy. Tell me. Tell me that you never had second thoughts about our pregnancy. Tell me you never felt guilty about sleeping with your own wife. Never felt guilty about our baby's arrival. Tell me you never wished that the baby was a part of Amy rather than me. That she would be having family with you. Tell me. Pure pain was visible in her voice. She looked away from him as his eyes became red and drop of pearl-like tears started to fall from his eyes. But for the first time she didn't wipe them. She let them fall. Her own heart was throbbing in pain. Sure, the miscarriage actually was never his fault. It happened because of the embryo didn't develop properly, and it was no one's fault. Even after taking extra care, this often happens. Wyan wasn't delusional enough to blame Taehyung for the undeveloped embryo. Her practical side knew very well he loved their baby because at the end it was a part of him, and he was the father. But the emotional side of her, the part of her where she was a mother, not a wife, not a sister, not a daughter, not a businesswoman, just a mother who just lost her unborn baby. That part of her stopped thinking practically. That part of her let her extreme emotions took control over her rational thinking. That part of her blamed him. A tiny bit, but still blamed him. As illogical as it sounds, but still that tiny part of her blamed him. She blamed him for being even 1% sad for their baby's arrival. She blamed him for making even 1% impression that their baby was unwanted by him. She blamed him for feeling guilty for their baby's arrival, thinking how could he started to forget his first love. She knew how much he loved Amy. She also loved her sister. After all, both sisters shared the same parents. But it's been almost 11 months since Amy passed away. It's not like he slept with her just day after Amy passed away. It took more than 8 months' time. Ryan knew very well that she could never replace Amy in his heart. She never intended to. She was always content and hopeful with the fact that one day he would love her and gave a place beneath Amy in his heart. But after seeing a tiny guilt in his eyes when he came to know about their unborn baby, she felt immense pain. She felt pain knowing he loved Amy more than his own child. This wasn't supposed to happen. She shouldn't have felt pain considering the fact that her sister was fortunate enough to have Taehyung's this much beautiful, least conditional love. But she felt pain, sorrow, maybe as the saying goes, interest is more valuable than real. So, her emotional mother side felt like Almighty had snatched their baby from them because he wasn't fully welcoming their child. As silly as it sounds, that part of her tend to believe this only. Ryan, Ryan, Ryan. Huh? She looked at her front and found Taehyung holding her hand while calling her name. His face wasn't filled with tears. I was asking why are you avoiding me, but you zoned out. She looked at him confused eyes. Zoned out means whatever she saw happening a while ago, her outburst was just a reverie of her. She didn't actually tell him those words. Shy. A sigh of relief left her mouth, realizing she actually didn't tell those cruel words to him. Whatever she felt that time, right or wrong, she shouldn't burst on him. How could she, after knowing very well that he's not that mentally strong to handle her outbursts, not after losing his loved ones right back to back? Maybe a few weeks later, couple of months later, but she needed to tell him whatever was inside her. She will, cause if she put that thoughts inside her for too long, it would become a poison for their marriage, for her love, a poison of which he would never find an antidote, no matter how much he would try later. You didn't answer me. Do you think it's my no, Taehyung? As the doctor said, it happens even after taking too much care. So you don't think otherwise? None of us were at fault. Practically, she didn't lie, right? Practical side of her believed that words, just the emotional side of her. Anyways, as the doctor suggested, she needed to take care of not just herself but her husband too, both physically and mentally. As among both of them, her mental health was stronger than him. Or is it? He nodded, hearing her, and then told her tenderly, "You should rest now." She nodded, then he made her lay on the bed and covered her with the duvet. He then was about to leave from there, but she held his hand. "Stay." He nodded and laid beside her. She softly kept her head on his shoulder, whereas he gently kept stroking her thumb. There was silence between them for a while. I was thinking I should start seeing a therapist. A therapist? Yes, I think I need this. I need to clear my mind, to move on from her, from everything. A tear leapt from his eyes and she clasped his hand tightly. You don't deserve this, Ryan, you don't. A partner who is too much broken, too much occupied by the past, too much fragile. You don't deserve it. No one does. I should have stayed strong and comforted you after our baby, but it was you who comforted me instead. I don't think I could able to be your pillar. Ryan just hugged him tightly as tears didn't stop flowing from his eyes. She is really thankful to whatever force it was due to which she didn't burst on him. He would be much more broken if she did that. You are gonna be like before, love. You are. We will meet the therapist. It will be okay, she said while patting his back, comforting him. She didn't hide the fact that he truly needed help to move on now. We will overcome this. We will. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything. She not only told him that but also herself. Thanks for watching this one shot. I had written this to convey not all person can move on easily. Not always fulfilling late lovers' wish bring happiness in life. Sometimes it makes life even more complicated than it was before.